I've got you on both the phone and this thing, and we're pretty much ready for this meeting. I think this is the only one recording, so that's all good. But I got it on mute, I think. So can you hear me now?
That's a great
I
promotion.
think you can. That is a great promotion, thanks.
Because of all the earthers, we need the earth.
Streaming, yeah.
Hi.
Well, they don't have to stream the social media.
Let's see.
The
Oh,
part
good at
that's
the work.
important is the business.
It's missing. All right, so
You know, the
I'm
newest
gonna
tactic
turn this
of
off
the,
for now.
Look how many people are watching us, Kevin. Oh my God.
All right, hey everybody, it's Kevin here. I am the treasurer of the Libertarian Party, Hillsborough County. Just to let you know, we're starting this meeting in a few minutes. This is the device that'll have the microphone. We have other cameras. If you guys join in, you'll have a chance to speak as well. Wanted to show you basically that we do have an agenda. Let's see if I can get the little reflection off picture. We do have an agenda we're gonna be going through, and we'll be speaking off of this. So hopefully you guys can follow along pretty well. And this is of course going to get recorded. This is our preliminary schedule as well for things we got going on. So don't want to bore you too much. This is of course a business meeting, but we do have some elections for executive committee members happening. And we'll do our best to manage this device, the phone. And this will happen in just a few moments, I believe. Good, yeah.
Yeah, the Turn to Liberty.
No, my Susan Stanley popped up on the screen.
It's just, it says it's all working, so
Okay,
I'm happy to just talk with it.
let's assume it's working and go forward. Yes?
Yeah.
Do you want to try and record on the Turn to Liberty phone an actual video in case it's not?
No.
I trust you. And I think what time it is. Does it say 35?
7:35 p.m.
We call the meeting of the Libertarian Party of Hillsborough County, Florida, to order. It is March 10th, 2019, and it is 7:35 p.m. So our prior secretary was Jason Stuber, and Jason Stuber is no longer with us, and he's up in DC. So our acting secretary is Kevin O'Neill. So Kevin O'Neill, can you confirm that our acting officers are in attendance? And if we have plus X number of members, X number of guests, and if we have a quorum set, which means 4 of our members are here present.
Okay, yes, all our acting officers are here. No. And we have at least 4 votes present to elect future executive committee members.
So a quorum is established.
Quorum is established.
And the meeting is real. Yay! Okay, so we are going to start with our reports. So as the chairperson, I will be giving the reports for the executive committee. And right now, our executive committee has started something new where they have been meeting prior to the meeting. And we've been working on Robert's Rules of Order, working out our motions, trying to do everything. I just got my hand shut down. Trying to do everything prior to, so these meetings can continue to be as accurate, effective, and efficient for you, the voter, as possible. So what we ask for you as members is we do want you to register for the meetings and to participate in the meetings, because yes, your voice does count, and we want to hear what you have to say. So in order to participate in the meetings, we ask you to click on the calendar on our website, hillsboroughlibertarians.org. I have no idea what camera I'm looking at.
No TV.
TV? It's way over my head. Okay, so we ask that you register in advance for the meetings. There has been questions over why that happens. The reason that happens is because we only want registered libertarians who reside in Hillsborough County to have a say on where the party makes decisions, where our local party spends money, and who approves the libertarian the motions from our Hillsborough Libertarians. So it is important that you pre-register for the meetings. When you pre-register for the meetings, you will not only receive an email that tells you how to jump in on this meeting and to be active, but you'll also receive a second email that sends with you the copy of the agenda and any motions that have been presented in advance and the links to everything on our internet drive so you can find stuff. So I want to make sure you guys all are aware of all of that. This meeting, we are also at our annual election times for both for secretary and for treasurer, so you will hear open opportunities to nominate. What did I say?
Secretary and treasurer.
Oh, secretary and chairperson. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we will be calling for nominations for both our chairperson and our secretary position, and those positions will be normally a 2-year term, and our current 2-year terms of treasurer and vice chair will remain in effect for another year. This is important for our leadership staff so that you always have some consistency and depth of knowledge sitting on the board. So our first report, I'm supposed to call for nominations. So first I am going to seek a call for nominations for the office of secretary.
I nominate our treasurer, Kevin, to be secretary.
That's
So
Chris Kuwait speaking.
the chair recognizes Chris Kuwait from the floor. And Chris Kuwait, I heard you say you wanted to nominate Kevin O'Neill, our current treasurer, for the position of secretary treasury or treasury, which is a slash both positions. Correct?
Thank you. I'll accept.
Kevin accepts the nomination. Do I hear any nominations for chairperson at this time?
I will nominate. I, Laura Hartman, nominate Susan Stanley for Hillsborough Libertarian chairperson.
Thank you for participating, Laura. This chair recognizes Laura Hartman on the microphone, and she nominates Susan Stanley for chairperson, and I, Susan Stanley, will accept that nomination. Do I hear any other nominations from the floor at this time? Remember, elections will happen at the end of the meeting, and during the meeting, you will hear a second call for nominations. So even if you are online, we do have volunteers watching your camera lines, and you can always make a nomination from the field, and anybody is eligible to be nominated. At this point in time, I'm going to turn the floor over to our treasurer for the finance reports, and then he is also our campaign committee chairperson, so he's going to be speaking back to back with that.
Both of them, okay.
Don't forget your motions.
I got a motion over here. Hey, everybody. Kevin O'Neill, present treasurer, and subcommittee, heading up a couple subcommittees. So quickly, the financial report for the group is we've been active and up to date with the Secretary of Elections mandatory reporting pretty much on a quarterly basis, but it really kind of mimics the election schedule more so. This big box in front of me. So the website's available for donating, of course. There's a button right there for you guys to donate. Gives you an opportunity. I think it's still a form on there, Susie, for them to speak. You could direct your funds, basically. I think there's a little survey on about 12 hot topics in the county. And if you go to hillsboroughlibertarians.org or LPHC.org. So it's right down here. Both of those work, but you'll end up on hillsboroughlibertarians.org, of course. Please do go there. We're 100% volunteer funded, as you imagine, and we need your donations. We need your volunteer time too, but in absence of you being able to show up to volunteer, please send us money. Support us. We need your support. We are paying attention to fighting for freedom and liberty here in Hillsborough County. And
Did you find your bucket?
yeah, so we're going to pass the bucket now around the room, looking for funds.
Oh, that bucket.
Got to get a good visual.
How much do we suggest a donation,
So
Mr. Treasurer?
Susie, our chairwoman, has been really smart about donations. So basically $3 a month is what we're asking for. A lot of people like to donate all $36, once a year. Some people would just rather just give us two $20 bills. Of course, we can accept cash and up to $50. Just need to know your name, your occupation, and we'll file that with the state as we
You have to
do
fill out a
every
form.
quarter. But checks are available too. There's a PO box on our website. You can send us checks, or you can fill out the form on our website. Do it, electronic payment style. So please,
Do you take cryptocurrency?
please do that. We presently have no ability to take cryptocurrency. If you want to start the cryptocurrency app on our website, please volunteer to do that. So let's put it in the bucket, please.
My $36 for 2019.
Okay, this is with my hand is reaching to get her paper filled out. Thanks
I
very
already
much.
have my paper filled out. Here,
Somebody in the
here,
back row's got some money.
Here's my paper filled out. You can put it right inside there.
All right, somebody in the back row's got some money.
Here's Laura Hartman. I'm giving you my cash to support the party.
She's going for the-
Here's my
She's
paperwork.
going for the
It's
full
filled out.
40 on the back there. Thanks, Laura. New member, you. All right, so of course we can take cash donations. Government wants traceability, so we'll be tracing this. Put this down in my chair. Thanks, everybody. You guys are awesome. We do have a bank account, funds there, someplace under $100, so it's all good, but it could be better. So come on, feed us. We need it now. Okay, so back to the next thing. So that was a finance report. Any questions? Sorry to be rushing, but any questions?
Not
No
this time.
questions.
Okay, good. So we'll get the campaigns.
Yep, you can change your hat. Move into campaign.
Campaign committee chairman now. So now I'm campaign committee chairman. And all right, so here's the story. It's the month of March. We just had City of Tampa municipal elections. They just processed through last week. And there's a runoff. There's a runoff for mayor. Who would have thought? There's like 9 people running for mayor, and there's a runoff. There's also, I believe, I have to double check, there's 2 or 3 other runoffs for city commissioner posts as well. So I actually have a motion on this one. So basically, the pitch is, if you guys are members and you're watching and you want to be involved in this, we're having another effort to do a voter's guide specific to the special election. So we don't really know what the outcome is to say we support yet. We wanted to start critiquing these candidates again afresh. They've already made a lot of public statements, so we really need to plow through the public statements, in a sense, pick which one's closest to a libertarian. It's really tough in a municipality like Tampa to say that's the guy, but or the girl. But nonetheless, I think it's our duty in some respects to communicate to our probably have like 700 registered libertarians in the city of Tampa. Do you remember city offhand the count for city of Tampa? I think countywide it's like 3,000, but city of Tampa is a smaller subset. So here's the motion. As the campaign committee chairman, I make a motion for members to fully empower the campaign committee to generate a voter guide for Tampa 2019 runoff election and promote recommendations in a produced guide. Can I get a support for that motion?
Support.
I will second that motion.
Yeah.
Or Laura can second that
She's, supports it. Anybody have a second? Any discussion? Any nays? Vote passes.
one.
Okay.
Well, excuse me. You have to call for ayes.
I think we just did.
You
Okay.
just said any
We're in a
nays.
small room. Can I get a call for ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, it's unanimous. Unanimous. Fabulous, guys. You guys rock. All right, so jump on board. If you're not, go to our website. Website's the easiest place to start. Click on the icon that says band, B-A-N-D, like a marching band. Join that. You'll be connected to us there. That's where we do our inside party communications. It's kind of like a work group. So we're going to do some work in there, and we'll split up the work so we can do the work quick. All right, so second item, actually, that's campaigns committee. Anybody got any other campaign committee questions or topics? Okay. So next one is for this guy here, is political action committee. So I'm also the political action committee chair. volunteers, jump forward. Believe me, you're welcome to chair some of these committees. So for political action chair, there's some things going on in Hillsborough County, but the one that's rising to the top, which I think is most interesting, is as activists, oftentimes, we feel we can spend our money much more better than the government can spend our money. So we're typically not wanting our currency, our money to go to them. So I don't want to put words in Libertarians' mouth, but I'm speaking generalities. So specifically, as you may recall, last November, the wonderful wisdom of the voters was to increase taxes 1% in order to fix all transportation problems here. So it wasn't just the typical panacea from the podium of the county commissioners like Les Miller likes to do, the panacea for everybody, eat your blue pill and you'll be fine. But instead, we're the folks who ate the red pill, and we recognize government is the least efficient means to spending money. We actually do support transportation, ironically, but here's the deal. The last ballot initiative for raising our taxes 1% for support of transportation was such that it created an appointed committee of citizens that manage the funds. So 1% over 30 years is a couple $2 billion, okay? So the big capital B, I think if I write my B backwards, it'll be forwards for you. So a big capital B times 2 or 3. So yes, the voters said, let's do this, but no, the people who created the ballot initiative, they did not, in my opinion, understand the statutes, which delineates who has the power to spend and bond for money ahead of time, finance bonding at a county level. So that is specifically the county commission, and the commissioners are the only ones who can do that per statutes. So is the county charter above the Florida statutes? The Florida statutes are supposed to be constitutional under the Florida Constitution. I think in the Florida charters, or the county charters, lesser than the Florida statutes. So Stacy White, a Board of County Commissioner member, is suing for clarity on this exact question, plus some other details, of course. It's written up by a lawyer. It's like 60 pages long. But he's looking for exact clarity for a judicial decision as to whether or not this ballot is constitutionally correct. If it's not, he wants it thrown out. If it is, he'll suffer the consequences. So that hearing, I believe, is May 7th. Not a weekday, that's a Tuesday. I believe it's May 7th. Part of our political action committee's effort here is to basically rile us up to show up in our Libertarian shirts. We'll probably have some special particular color for that day. And basically be photography for the chair, for the commissioner, as he does his pressers, as he shows up for court. We'll sit there on this side of the courtroom. And what's also occurring in that same hearing is not only his arguments that this is not compliant with statute, needs to be redone in a future ballot effort, but also this appointed citizens committee that has the power to bond now, per the hopefully ill-fated ballot that passed. They want to get permission to bond. They want to get permission to go get their $1 billion based on our future tax payments now. So this judge is going to be hearing both items to basically schedule a date to invalidate this ballot initiative, or schedule a date to empower the citizens appointed committee to then go bond for $1 billion. So that's a big deal. So if you're an activist, if this was a trophy wall and you wanted a big trophy right here, it would be, we were instrumental in stopping $1 billion tax increase for a county of 1.6 million people. That's a big deal. That is one of the reasons we exist, to basically make these things go our way. So that's it for the political action meeting. That's the biggest thing on the political action calendar. I'm not asking for any motions here. This is what we do. We communicate. We ask you to get off the couch and come out and do what we're talking about. Let's show up for Stacy White. Let's show up for the taxpayers. We are fine if the ballot is proper. How in God's name a Supreme Court judge approved this language? I have no idea, but it was like a 4-page ballot language adder to our charter. Total mess. Could have been prevented by the judge if they did their job up front. I'm talking about the judges that sign off ballot language. Total failure, in my opinion. But nonetheless, there's another judge that's going to take a look at it. So let's let that judge know we care. I'm gonna. Does anybody have any other questions or from the floor, please?
So if I was interested in learning more about what you're doing, when you're doing it, and how I could show up, how would I find out where you're meeting? Where's the discussion happening? Where is all that inside your group going on?
Okay, good question. I think my camera just changed. Here it is. The answer to your question is if you go to our website and you click on band, B-A-N-D, join band, it's an app for your phone or a web page, however you want to deal with it. You can join our work group. We have an online work group. I'm getting political statements from the field. Join band, and you jump on our work group. You call me up as well, Kevin O'Neill. My Google phone is 813-803-0338. It's 813-803-0338. And just get involved. Call our chairwoman up, Susan.
Join band. Get on band.
Join band. Is there another one back there? I'm hearing drain the swamp of Hillsborough County Commission.
Tampa Bay Swamp.
Tampa Bay Swamp. All right. Get that
There's
treasure.
gators in our Tampa Bay swamp.
Get the treasure.
We're ready for gator bites.
Let's forget something here. All right, so treasurer, are we on the treasurer's part already?
You already did treasure.
I think I'm jumping back. Excuse me 1 second. I missed something. Treasurer's report.
No, that's because you haven't got there yet. It'll
I
come
haven't
up.
got there yet.
No, that
Okay.
motion comes up later.
Okay, fine. I thought that was, what we leave now? We done?
You're good.
All right, that's it for me. Thanks.
Thank you, Kevin. Yay, Kevin.
Yes.
Okay.
Always take.
Campaigns. Okay, so now we are going to speak. Oh, now we are calling for the second call for nomination. So is there anybody online, anybody who's texting in, anybody who has any additional
See
nominations?
nobody online on this computer.
No nominations online?
You still some jumping into that?
Okay. So that was call number 2. Elections will happen at the end of the meeting. So membership report. So we get Kevin so he doesn't have his pending thing to do.
Membership.
Okay, so membership report, that's me. I love being membership report. If you're getting all sorts of postcards, it's probably from our committee. We're trying to reach out, and we do send, this is an example, we do send these postcards out to people when they join our
Party.
our party at the SOE level. So it kind of tells them that there's things going on. Oh, I have to go reverse.
Camera's gonna go right now.
It's just reverse. I was trying to get rid of that glare, but I can't.
It's okay. They understand.
So anyway, it's got a blank postcard on the back. So if you're someone who's willing to volunteer and you help us type out the message, to handwrite a message that says, welcome to the party, here's what's coming up. If you have any questions, check out our calendar, here's our da-da-da-da-da. So that's what the membership group does. The membership group also gets together once a month and talks about where we can do an outreach event. Sometimes it's showing up at a gun show. Sometimes it's showing up at a legalized marijuana thing. Sometimes it's showing up at different places, but we're really just outreaching, trying to build our members. Our philosophy within our group is talking about connecting people eyeball to eyeball, belly button to belly button, so they can build community, build heart. And our number one goal is to get to hear you, your message, what are you most concerned about? And then connecting you to somebody who is of like mind. So if you're someone who's really fighting and into political action, we're going to connect you to that group. If you're someone who's interested in philosophy, if you're someone who's interested in just BSing about politics, we're going to connect you to the right people. So we hope that you do take the time to connect. If you're someone who's a loving Labrador personality and wants to help us with that, we would love to connect with you on that and have you join our group. It's always a fun, loving group. Okay, so the membership report right now, we are currently still one of the largest counties in the state of Florida. We have over 2,600 registered libertarians at this time, which is more than any other county inside the state of Florida. Not to mention the state of Florida is number 3 in the nation for having, behind Texas and California, for having the most registered libertarians within their state. And the state of Florida, as well as Georgia, go back and forth with who has the most libertarians currently serving in office. So it is always an exciting thing to do to know that when we are working at outreach, when we are working at membership, when we are working at registering libertarians and connecting to people, that we're succeeding. We're doing great.
So what we want to do is help people become a part of this community, since we're talking about meeting them all together. So I want to suggest that we do things that connect people to like-minded people officially from the moment that they start and become members. So whereas right now, when you click the hillsboroughlibertarian.org/join, it's going to go through and it's going to ask you, are you willing to host at your event? Are you willing to bring food? Are you willing to knock on doors? Are you willing to make phone calls? It's very task-oriented and being a part of our community. Because of that, we end up with people who can only help out at certain projects and they never really get that relationship feeling. So we would really like to change that entry-level position to signing up to be a member of a group right from the get-go. We currently have a tab that says, I do not want to participate. We still want to keep that open, but we are looking to name and identify each one of these groups. So if you're someone who's interested in membership, like focus on the membership. Is that still catching right? Okay, because what I'm seeing is the other side. Okay, so
Gotcha.
that was weird. What I'm staring at is Kevin's head, and I'm like very confused on why I'm checking Kevin's head. So we want people to say, I am a part of the feisty people's group, which are the political action fighters, or I'm part of the philosophy group and the book study group and the thinkers, which is with Chris, or I'm part of the membership group and the community people, which is, you know, with me. So there's all different groups and all different types of people. So we want to change that. So on behalf of that, I am going to make a motion today as the membership chair. So I, Susan Stanley, would like to move that we simplify our membership form on our volunteer from a volunteer task base to a group style format where our new members select a group or a series of groups to be associated with as soon as they join. Can I hear a second?
I support.
Second.
We got a second.
Everybody second that one. Okay. So all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstains? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you guys very, very much. Now people can become a part of the solution. Okay, outreach. So for the outreach group, which is kind of like connected to several other groups currently, but we're hoping to break this out individually. Our outreach group is looking to have a booth at the LPF State Convention that will be happening the weekend of May 3, 4, 5, right here in Hillsborough County at the Sheridan in Tampa Bay. That's the one that's at the Howard Franklin Bridge.
It's 500 block west.
Not the street address. I got the address. It's like where you think about where the West Shore Mall is, and there's a Howard Franklin Bridge that goes up and over. It's that Sheridan right there that's heading up to the bridge. So we went and checked out the site, checked out the venue. With sound guys and with the state party chairperson this week. It's going to be a nice venue. There's going to be plenty of things. We would like to encourage everybody to participate, everybody to go. I want you to remember two very, very simple things in the Libertarian Party of Florida and in Hillsborough County. Your voice matters. And when we have any time that there is a convention or a business meeting or something like that, you are welcome to participate without purchasing a ticket. What you do have to do is become a delegate. So that means you need to be registered Libertarian Party of the state of Florida, LPF, on your SOE database. It has to say that you're LPF.
What's an SOE?
Supervisor of Elections, your local voting place where you register to vote. You need to be registered as a Libertarian voter. Step 2, you have to be a member of the Libertarian Party of Florida. So you need to go to lpf.org and register with them. Now you are considered a person that is eligible to show up at this meeting, to show up in all of the business meetings and to participate and have a say on where your state party is spending its money, where it's making its decisions. You also might get invited to participate in different subcommittees, whether it's membership or outreach or platform or all the other committees that we have at the local level. They have the same thing at the state level. So you're always welcome to do that as well. In addition, at this convention, there will be several speakers and several activities that are a whole lot of fun. So we have people from the Mises Institute talking about economics and stuff like that. We have got several speakers that will be there talking about different things from the LP National. So I believe.
Candidates for president too.
Yeah, I haven't got that one yet. Who's coming from National? National is
Vice Chairman. Vice Chairman.
I was thinking of names, sweetie, not jobs. Borhair. My brain just went blank. Anyway, Vice Chair. We also have.
Historian.
She's not a historian. You got wrong information. Look it up on your phone or shoot.
My phone's being used. There's a phone.
So we have 3 members from the National Party that are going to be there locally speaking. We have people that are historians that can talk a lot about, they were there when the actual Libertarian Party was formed. We're going to have, Mr. Tierney's going to be there, and he was one of the radical students that was running around fighting against the government, said we need to have our own party, and he helped create the Libertarian Party in the beginning. He's going to be one of the speakers that are there. Tom Woods, who everybody knows from his podcast and local areas out here. He's a wonderful person. He's going to be speaking out there. We also have 3 candidates that are currently seeking presidential campaign nominations for the 2020 presidential candidate are going to be there having a debate about their issues. We have a comedian that's going to be coming on Friday night. We have a party. After parties are always so fun. It's going to be called May the 4th Be With You, because it's actually going to be on the 4th. So we have all sorts of fun stuff. So the comedian is Friday night, and Saturday night is the after party. We invite you to come. Now, to go to the actual speakers, you have 2 different choices. You can buy a speaker package, which is $100. It gets you into all of the speakers. There are also different packages above and beyond that that include your meals. Now, having checked out the venue, I do want to let you know that the deck outside of where the pool is and where the restaurant usually is under construction and being remodeled right now. So I doubt very seriously that in the next 6 weeks, the restaurant is going to be up and running and fully going. So I don't even know, I'm on past that, that's fine. So when you get there, it might be worth your while to consider buying purchasing a meal ticket if you are someone who's going to be traveling in from farther away. So if you're someone who lives right near the West Shore Mall in Kennedy, right there by the Howard Franklin Bridge, and you're just going to go home, grab stuff to eat at lunchtime, that's fine. You're more than welcome to do that. You're more than welcome to pack a lunch, pack a cooler. That's what I do. That's what Kevin does. We walk up with our own cooler. We eat our own food. That's fine too. It's $100 to walk into every one of the venues and you can get a packet. When you do that, you will also get a cute little bag. Our bags in the past look kind of like these. So where's my camera? There we go. So, yay. Okay, so see, you can see they're just nice little bags. It'll have inside of it all the stuff. This is last year's bag, 2018, obviously. But it'll have all the stuff that you need, all the things that are going on the voting floor, everything that we're talking about, all of the agendas, all the details about the speakers and the meetings will all be inside those bags. So if you are someone who cannot spend $100, but you are still interested in getting a bag and getting the goodies, we still have one other way for you to get your bag of goodies, and that is volunteer. There's lots of opportunities at the LPF.org. When you go on there, the sign up for the conference is actually convention.lpf.org. And when you go there in the upper right-hand corner, there's a click spot that says volunteer. If you volunteer, you can sign up for just general hustle. You can sign up to help with some of the speakers. You can sign up to help with some of the meal prep. You get, not meal prep like cooking, but like getting people to their spaces for dinner. And checking in names. You can help with name tags and checking in and register. All of these things are great things that the Libertarian Party at the state level needs your help and volunteering to make this event a huge success. And as soon as you donate your time and volunteer, you will actually get your gift little goodie tote bag for free. You will also get it if you pay for any purchase ticket. I do want to caution you, you need to be registered Libertarian voter. You need to be registered with the state party, lpf.org. And you do need to register for the event. There are rooms available, and there is a discount code for at the hotel itself. I'm not really focused on that right now because we're pretty much all local. The last thing that I want to mention to all of our libertarians that are listening to us is that the state party on their last business meeting call did approve a set dollar amount. I forget what it is right now. I want to think it's $3,000. So they will be mailing
They will be mailing, my kitty cat's asking for supper next to me. They will be mailing out a mailer to every Libertarian voter within 100 miles of the Sheridan. That is going to include every one of our Hillsborough Libertarians. So our Hillsborough Libertarian voters are going to be receiving something that is an invitation to attend this event. Because of that, we want to make sure that we are helping to cross promote. We want to help support. We want to be there for that event. We want to be there in force. And one of the things that we want to do is we want to have a booth at the event with all the other vendors and stuff, telling people that are showing up for the state party how they can get involved at a local level. So we want to have our updated back cards. We want to have our updated calendars. We want to have a way to collect money. We want to have a way to do all the things that we want to do from the outreach booth. So we want to have not only just a general outreach booth, but we want to have a superstar outreach booth, because anybody who is here active locally that is showing up, which I am hoping there are many of you out there, because we've got over 2,600 Libertarians right here in Hillsborough County alone. I expect you to show up and be there, be active and participate. We have members from our own Hillsborough Libertarians that are on the platform committee that will be making motions on the floor to change the platform at the state level. This is ways that you too can participate on these small committees. So we want you to be active and to be there. So I have a motion. Dun, dun, dun. I move that we reserve a booth at the LPF State Convention and man that booth, passing out our local libertarian issues if there's a cost associated with it not to exceed $50. Can I have that motion seconded?
I second it.
Chris,
Chris seconds it.
Yes.
All in favor say aye.
have a discussion? No discussion?
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. Any discussion?
How many volunteers are needed? What's the minimum requirements?
Those are all very valid questions, and we are going to actually carry on all of those conversations on the band page. So if you're interested in any of that, you will be getting emails out to everybody. We will be going through the phone volunteer list. We will be sending out text messages. But the primary conversation will be happening on band. So there'll be, like in our Google documents, there'll be a Google sheet that has all the spots. It kind of depends on how many volunteers. If it's one person running the booth, then it's one person. We would love to have 2 or 3, because the more we have, obviously the better we can service and answer questions. So you don't need to know everything about the Libertarian Party of Hillsborough County to win the booth. We just need bodies there being warm, and we can put some of our key volunteers behind the scenes answering questions as they need to. It's just everything that we have on our registration is plug and chug, so people can plug and chug from right there. That was a great question, though.
Can we get clarity? Do you have to be a registered Libertarian to volunteer?
No, you do not have to be a registered Libertarian to volunteer. You have to be a registered Libertarian to vote and to participate in the actual, like, they will actually, what they do at a convention, because frequently, say, one spouse is Libertarian and wants to go to the convention, and the other spouse shows up with kids and they want to go to the pool and hang out because they're going to vacation or they're going to go visit family or something like that. So when there is a closed time for votes from the Libertarian Party, they will actually give people ballots, and you have to be a registered Libertarian to receive your ballot, or they will close the door, and it's called closed door session, and they will pick everybody out who does not have rights to vote, and you will be out of the voting room and back out into the main lobby, which could be where our booth is. So how exciting. Come see me and other people who are volunteering at the outreach booth. Any other questions or discussions?
Yeah, you joined the party, joined the Florida Libertarian Party.
Mhm.
Is there, are they asking for money?
Not when you first register. They will hit you up. And what I would tell you is that they're, like, our registered time during the year that we reach out for money is generally February. The state parties is March. So generally right after we ask out for the county there, between March and May, they're usually reaching out somewhere in there for about a 4-week period of time. So they usually have us suggest, ours is $40. Theirs is usually like $50 for the year. We do suggest that people contribute to the state party, because the state party is also bringing in big speakers that we could never afford at the county level. And they also support us at the regional level, which for those who are new to us, our region consists of 5 counties. It consists of Pinellas, Polk, Hillsborough, Hernando, Pinellas,
Manatee?
Pasco, Pinellas, Polk, Hernando, and Hillsborough. So those are our 5 that are all within a region. And so we have a region representative that represents us at the state level, talking for everything the LPHC has to say. So any other questions?
I call the question.
Yay, call the question is heard, so we're calling for a vote. So all in favor, I'll reread the motion since we got so much discussion. I move that we reserve a booth at the LPF State Convention and man that booth, passing out our local libertarian, actually the word says paraphernalia, which is probably a better word based on the audience, with a cost not to exceed $50. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes. Okay, so that was membership and outreach regarding political education. Can you turn the camera on, Mr. O'Neill, so that it can affect our education representative?
I can try.
The floor here recognizes Chris Squat, our chairperson of our educational philosophy group.
Yeah, I'd sort of like to make a motion because personally, I would sort of like to have more discussion about what it means to be a libertarian. So I move that we create a group called Living Libertarian that meets once a month. And let's see if I'm reading it too well here. We're going to discuss issues like what can libertarians do for me? What does it mean to live in a libertarian way? There are a number of issues that come up. We can talk about how libertarianism affects you and your life and how it affects your political relationships. So I'd like to make that motion so that we can start having discussions within ourselves, within our group, about what it means to be a libertarian.
Second
Do I hear a
motion.
second? Kevin O'Neill seconds the motion. Is there any questions or discussion? Will any funds be needed for this group?
As far as there is none, but we have materials which will supply for people who want to participate. You need to bring your mind with you and bring your pen with you and bring your mind with you.
Double
My
mind.
mind, I have double minds.
Left and
Thank
right.
you.
Left and right mind.
Yeah. And the,
All right, well,
and the left one.
Do
Let's,
we hear any other questions?
no discussion yet? No further discussion?
Okay, here and call the question. I'm going to seek for a vote. All in favor of Chris's motion to start this new group, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion passes unanimously.
Goodbye.
Yay.
Chris, start a new group. Great.
I look forward to support.
Yes, we're gonna have fun. Okay. So now we are at the elections committee. Okay, so our cameras get back here.
Sorry.
You're fine.
Technical issue.
We're crooked.
Sure are crooked.
Which way do I stand? Be straight.
I think we got there.
There, that's better. Okay, so this is from our volunteers and / elections committee. Our volunteers committee, we have job descriptions created for each one of our job descriptions. And one of the things that we have found that has been most beneficial for us to work out some of the kinks of what we're doing is keeping the discussion open throughout the month. And so there are many discussions that are happening on band groups and different activities and things that are going on. And they're actually happening face to face at the different socials and all these different things, which we strongly want to encourage because that's why our motions and everything can come to the floor so clear and concise. One of the things that we have been testing out that we have found to work out successfully is meeting for food and social prior to the actual business meeting. And that is an opportunity for us to all bring up what we have heard throughout the month to the rest of the leadership team. And that way we can formalize and create the motions that are brought to all of the member voters at the actual business meeting. Distracting me. Stop things. So we want to be able to continue this functioning way of us learning. It helps us get new leaders on board with Robert's Rules of Order, how to word a motion, and there isn't a one of us that we have met yet that is an excellent parliamentarian and can handle all of this perfectly. So it helps us to be able to check each other and balance each other out. We have a nice little Robert's Rules of Order book here, and we try and learn and grow as we go. So as a volunteer group, we want to recommend adding to the current job description this piece that includes this time commitment on the second Sunday for a couple of hours prior to the business meeting. So the motion reads, I move to amend the job description of the LPHC leadership position to include the pre-meeting prior to the membership business meeting in preparation for the actual voting meeting on a regular monthly basis. Do I hear a second for this motion?
I'll second it. Kevin seconds.
Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, I'm going to call to vote. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstains?
Aye.
Laura abstains, which is fair because Laura was the very first meeting that she's ever attended and she was burnt out a third of the way through.
Should take a nap.
So it can get difficult to get everybody focused when they're new and understand what we're trying to do, but we appreciate those efforts. Speaking of which, the bag that they had down here that I wanted to show, I want to gift that to Laura as a new person. You can hand it to her, that's fine.
Congratulations.
Brought that out so we can give it to Laura as a new volunteer who's been
The
in
whole
here
lot there.
putting up for the whole leadership meeting for her very first time. We don't have ways that we can pay you, but wherever we can, we'd like to gift and pass out boards and things like that. Okay, so the last thing on our agenda, excitingly enough, is actually our elections.
So
Yay!
there was treasurer thing.
No, your treasurer was first. You're
I had
finance and
motions
treasurer.
today. Told me not to make
Oh, do we not make one of our motions? Which motion do we not make?
two of them
Membership?
for postcard purchases and bumper sticker purchases.
Okay, those are both good motions. So do you want to make them up here,
Sure.
Mr. Moneyman?
All right. So basically, we kind of need expense funds. So as treasurer, the treasurer moves to expend funds for a prior agreed to bumper sticker for donors. $50 budget not to be exceeded. Not to be exceeded. So that is my motion. And do I have a second from the members?
I second that.
I have Chris second. Stand up first. Anyone want to discuss spending money on a bumper sticker? Okay. Can I call the vote? Who is in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Who's opposed? Silence. Anybody seeking to abstain? Silence again. All right. Unanimity. Okay. All right. Next, second one. I got another motion. Treasurer moves to expend funds for postcards to be printed for use at events and for mailing to new members, not to exceed $75. So, can I? That's the motion. Can I get a second?
It's like,
Chris seconds. Again, you're quick today. Who would like to discuss postcards and the budget level of $75 max? Nobody. Any other discussion items? I'll call a vote. Who is in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Great. So anybody opposed? Anybody abstaining? All right, super. So another unanimous pass. Excellent, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you, treasurer. Okay, so back to elections. We have one final motion that we want to discuss. Because we are going into the LPF convention in May, we want to encourage the people to get involved and to be an active part of and to be a part of the solution. And so because of that, it would be another whole year before they could actually participate at a leadership level. So at this point in time, the current leadership that is standing here would like to bring to the floor the opportunity for people to have for us as Hillsborough Libertarian, to have a special election for the current positions that are right now open, the chair and the secretary,
so that other people who are getting involved know that those positions are coming up and available and that they have an opportunity to participate. Our current bylaws, I'm gonna get this right, if I'm not, my bylaw specialist will tell me from the floor. You must participate in at least 4 of the 6 prior meetings or the 3 previously consecutive meetings to be eligible to be a leader in the Hillsborough Libertarian LPHC, as well as being a member in good standing. Is that correct?
Business meetings, yes.
Okay, for the leadership, yeah. So to do that, these people need an opportunity to come and to participate. So we are suggesting having a LPHC special election to encourage those people to get involved, to be participating, and to be able to take ownership of leadership roles in just a few more months. So they're only 6 months out from getting elected and being able to do stuff. So it's not a year or 2 years out. So the motion reads, I move that the LPHC, well, I should say, I move that the Libertarian Party of Hillsborough County, Florida, hold a special election for the positions of secretary and chair during the month of October 2019 business meeting. Can I hear a second for that motion?
I second.
Do I hear any discussion, any questions?
So, but you're, just so people understand, you're saying that you're the current chairman, or chairperson.
Well, we haven't voted, but yes,
Yeah,
whatever.
what I'm saying is that your term, you've served your 2-year term, and you'd like to emphasize that you're going to be would like to work as membership directly.
That's me personally, yes.
Yes.
So we will let each of the candidates for office get a chance to speak. So yes.
Okay, so the special election is to pass the baton on to someone new who can actually take it up and run with it.
Correct. So they can be empowered and learn and be invested, and they can pick up the ball and run with it. That even though we're electing officers today, does not mean that we're going to go to state and we're going to run with it and come join our clan, our way, our style, because you may have great ideas that we haven't even thought of yet. And we want you to bring those to us and know that you have the opportunity to run for leadership, and it's okay. So yes, we're going to hold the elections today. Yes, we're not having a lot of new faces put in on the nominations so far today. So we are going to move that there's an opportunity for all this new blood that we're hoping to bring in the spring to be elected into office in the fall.
Okay.
Very good. Gives them a chance to learn the bylaws and the platform and the NAP and who we all are and how we work and bring their ideas and get some things accomplished and pick up that baton and be excited and roll with it. Okay, so I'm going to reread the motion after discussion. I move that the Libertarian Party of Hillsborough County, Florida, hold a special election for the positions of secretary and chair during the October 2019 business meeting. Has been seconded. Are there any other discussions? Call the question, and I'm asking for call the question, and we're going to seek a vote. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, now the last thing we have is our election time. So we actually have a secretary and a treasurer, or secretary and a chairperson's position. So let's start with the secretary. The nominations on the floor right now are Kevin O'Neill. Is there any other nominations at this time? One last call. Then I am going to bring up the only nomination to speak and tell us why we should elect him secretary between now and October.
Okay. I'm that guy. I'm the guy to be secretary. So, actually, I was secretary for a not-for-profit board elsewhere in the city of Tampa. But so I do have experience directly as a secretary right now. I've been a secretary in the past for family business about a decade back. And I do have pretty good writing skills, and I understand English well. And more importantly, I'm becoming more so aware that Robert's Rules of Order requires the most minimalist amount of information to be recorded. And I tend to record way more than is needed, but I think we'll capture the details well. And it's an opportunity to double down, so I can be treasurer and secretary for statutes, and I'm happy to do that for for libertarians, for liberty, for freedom, for our people here in Hillsborough.
Can you briefly explain the statute for the people who don't understand why we can do what we're doing?
So I will say that my knowledge of the statutes are that to have a functioning and statutorily correct, compliant political party, even if we're an affiliate of a state party, we need at least 3 minimal executives who are named, who are responsible. So the chair, vice chair, and the treasurer can also be the secretary. It could be 4 people, that treasurer could be 1 person, the secretary could be a 2nd person. So that's what the minimal requirements are of the statute, so I understand, and that's why we're doing what we're doing. And you guys, we're gonna have a broader election in October. You guys jump up, take over the secretary's role. I want to remind us we're gonna do written ballots and stuff. That's why I get this.
Good secretary comment. I brought pads of paper and everything.
Oh, you have that. That doesn't go for the ripped up ones. Recycling.
Okay, Chair, I am currently your chair. I was nominated from the floor 2 years ago. I actually didn't seek chairperson position. I just, we really needed a lot of help in strategic and background type of stuff, and that was something that I was good at, and so that's how I got elected chair. My passion and my specialty is in membership and volunteerism, and I really look forward to continuing that role, and I look forward to passing the baton on to the next chairperson. I am here. I am not moving away. I'm not disappearing. I am willing to help and train the next chairperson. So anybody who's interested in learning how to be a chair, learning Robert's Rules of Order, learning some of those basics, I invite you to come hang with me on all the funky things that the chairperson has to legally do and emotionally do as the chairperson. It's not really hard. You have to write the agenda. You have to listen to the conference call that happens once a month for the LPF State Party. And you need to be able to keep in communication with at-large representatives and your Region 8 representative. Our Region 8 representative right now is currently our own very own Hillsborough Libertarian, Brian Zemaina, who we ran from Florida House District 58 out of Temple Terrace area. So you already know the treasurer, and that's who you work with closely there. When you turn in the reports, they're signed by both the treasurer and the secretary, or the chairperson. So those are like the end of your real jobs, other than the fact that you're the legal spokesperson for the position. So come work with me. I'd love to help you be the next chairperson of the Libertarian Party of Hillsborough County. I do want to make one other statement. All of our leadership positions of all of the committees are 1-year terms. Our officer positions, as Kevin alluded to, we are a legal entity in the state of Florida, and the state of Florida does ask for 4 but allows 3, and so those positions as officers are 2-year commitments. So when we do the October re-elections, that position will still have the same expiration date, so that first term would be an 18-month term for you. It's not something you can do and then quit 3 months down the road. So we are looking for serious people who are interested in leadership roles. So with that in mind, let's go through the elections. It should be pretty easy because it's either the person who's on the ballot, or in true libertarian fashion, you can always write, in true libertarian fashion, you can always write NOTA, which stands for none of the above. So can the secretary pass out a piece of paper to each individual?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And the first person, or the first position we're going to be voting for is secretary. So you have a choice. You can either write Kevin O'Neill or NOTA, or none of the above.
Fold in half, please.
Fold it in half. And our secretary, or treasurer and acting secretary will be collecting the ballots.
We'll let you count them up.
I'll let you read them out loud.
Maybe I'll count. You
can
count
read
mine,
them.
I'll count yours.
Okay, I can do that. That makes sense, since we're doing for you. Thank you. So this is for the position of secretary / treasurer, so it's treasury. So we have 1 vote for Kevin O'Neill. I'm laughing, he's gonna write NOTA. Secretary Kevin O'Neill, secretary Kevin O'Neill, and secretary Kevin O'Neill. So yay, congratulations.
Oh, I feel
Kevin.
the love. Thanks,
So we have
guys.
been nominated secretary / treasurer affectionately known as Treasury, till October 2019
Okay.
with special elections. Now we're gonna do the same thing for chair, so I'm gonna allow you to come over here and take the floor since it's for me.
All right, we got some ballots.
It's laws. It's those people who write rules. I tried to change it twice.
So it's for chairperson, Libertarian Party, Hillsborough County, and presently, the only nominee is Susan Stanley, and of course, none of the above. So please mark your ballots accordingly, and I will collect them from you.
Don't you wish you were here online?
If anyone demands to inspect ballots, you can provide them to you. Anybody else have? All right.
Much better
Sure,
when
well,
we have
please.
45 people.
Susan Stanley, 1. Susan Stanley, 2. Susan Stanley, 3. Susan Stanley with a big heart, 4. Aw, how cute. Congratulations. You are chairwoman.
Okay.
Here's your record.
Thank you.
So that concludes the business that is on our current agenda. Do we have any other pieces of information that need to be brought to the floor at this time?
When's our next meeting?
Hearing none, I remind you that our next business meeting will be you can actually put the camera up here now. Our next business meeting is, as always, the second Sunday of the month, and we have lots of activities happening. This picture will be up on our thing, so these are gathered out, and this is today. March 20th is our next thing. It's actually one of our volunteer trainings. It's an online security for our activists. It will be happening right here in the same location. April 5th is the Feisty Friday group. And that group meets at Mexican restaurants and has fiesta and talks about political action team volunteers.
Bring your hats. Big Mexican hats.
You can wear your politically active. I want to use the word shit stirs, though. I love the shit stirs. The shit stirs shirts, all of anything that has to do with campaigns or political action. Those teams gather here. April 9th, 6:30 to 8, right here at the Mermaid Tavern in Old Seminole Heights is the next time that the membership team and the outreach team will be meeting. And those are the people that will be working on the booth and the activities and all that. May 3 through 5 is the LPF Convention right here in Tampa. Make sure you go to convention.lpf.org and learn all the different things. May 3rd is comedy night. May 4th is May the 4th be with you after party at the convention, and we'll be pumping all those. So we look forward to seeing you guys. Have a great month. We will see you next month. We hope you get involved. Bring your suggestions, bring your motions, and be a part of the solution at Libertarian Party of Hillsborough County, Florida.
Excellent job.
Peace out.
Peace out. Definitely.